Okay, today is November 18th, 2019, for the regular council meeting at 6 p.m. for the Village of Stryker. Tonight, leading us in prayer is Mr. Sean Ingram, Stryker Baptist Church. Sir?
Thank you, Mayor. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we're thankful for your grace and your mercy to us. We're thankful to live in a land where we have the freedom to be able to express our opinions about who should govern us and what laws should be made. Thankful for the democratic process that we've just come through, and we ask that now that that's over, that we would recognize the responsibility that we all have to support our duly elected officials, whether we voted for them or not. And I pray for these men and women who have given up their time to serve this community, that you grant them with wisdom and patience. Help them as they deliberate, especially when it's a decision that requires a thought and may not be popular. I pray that you'd help them to do not just what's expedient, Lord, but what is right and what is good, and that you will bless our community in Jesus' name. Amen.
Line for the pledge, Army veteran, Roger Wheelan. Sir?
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you both for coming and doing that for us. Roll call.
Tompkins, Overland, Blevins.
Yes.
Benner,
Yes.
Cameron. Yes. Armstrong.
Leads us into the citizens, the two that gave us the prayer and the pledge.
Thank you for your service.
Appreciate you coming up and doing that for us. Then that will lead us into the prior minutes for the village council minutes of 10/21/19. Is there a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of 10/21/19.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any addition or correction prior to voting? Roll call.
Blevins.
Yes.
Benner,
Yes.
Cameron. Yes. Armstrong.
Yes.
And that's going to lead us into the finance report as of 11/15/19. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to accept finance report 11/15/19.
And a second?
Second.
Anything for Beth prior to voting? Beth, anything that you want to share with the budget?
Well, we were positive this month, which is really good. Our revenue was 92,000 and our expenses were 63. So we were pretty good, 29,000. For the year, I went ahead and looked at the year. Our expenses were 1,083,281. Our revenue is 1,123,900. So we're 40,600 roughly to the good for the year. So very positive.
Any further questions for Beth? Okay, and roll call on that, Beth.
Benner,
Yes.
Cameron. Yes. Armstrong.
Yes.
Blevins.
Yes.
Puts us into the communication side, which you all should have the brightly well-designed red flyer for the third annual tree lighting, which will be held up here. I would encourage each of you to come up for that. Going to have some singing, a small little devotion, and then the lighting of the Christmas tree. And that's November 27th at 5:30 p.m. at the Village Hall. And then on the second part of that, I'm going to turn this, can I give this part to you? Because you've helped a little bit more with it. On a first annual decoration contest for the residents of the Village of Stryker. You want to touch on that a little bit?
We're hoping that people light it up or decorate their property. And the thought was, if they did it by December 12th, council could kind of drive around and pick the most decorated one, and we could like announce it on the 16th when we have the council meeting then. And the thought was for a reward that we could purchase some gift certificates from local businesses as the reward to give out to the winner. of the most decorated house. That was the thought behind it. That's a lot of the other towns, do like chamber plugs or gift certificates or something to that sort. It was just an idea that, thought why not try it and see if we can get some participation.
And I think this is a really good time, because we've had the Christmas lights back twice now, or 2 years in a row, now this being the third. It'd be a nice little addition, so hopefully get a little more of that cheer and nice lighting. Me personally, I have 2 rope lights I hang up and I put them on a timer, and that's my Christmas decorations. Easy up, easy down. But there's,
If you see any good ones while you're out driving around, let us know.
Yeah.
but I also
I'll
did,
drive around after dark, I don't know.
had someone tell me the other day, they have their Christmas tree up and there's 2,000 lights on it. Like, oh. So, there's people that have definitely the interest in decoration for this time of season, so we're going to try and encourage that with a little contest there. And hopefully that takes off. If it goes well, we'll keep going with it. I think it's a nice little start. It was nice seeing the lights come back in town, and then hopefully this will just add to that.
Are we gonna look at like first, second, and third place, or?
We're up, we have 3 spots, or is it 2?
That's whatever. I didn't put on there, it's whatever you guys wanna do.
I
didn't
thought we
put
thought 3 spots.
I didn't put dollar amounts or what you're gonna do. You might wanna see how much participation you get.
Yep.
So it'll be at least 3.
So if you're a judge, you cannot judge your own. Just saying. So hopefully, I've actually had some people actually corner me and say, is this for just in the village? Yes, for right now. For right now, it's for village residents. Could that expand to Stryker residents? Sure, but let's see how this works. I think it'll go well. And turning the police car lights on doesn't count as we're driving around, just in case. You know, that's not a decoration in front of your own house.
Throw a couple rope lights on the
There you go.
cab catch in the front.
There you go. So that's with the 3rd annual tree lighting as well as the decoration. I like the light it up, you said? Okay.
We might come up with a better term. Just saying.
Light up your property,
There you go. Then
your
let's go,
residential property.
that goes to the committee reports, the safety committee meeting on 10/28 of 19. Since Lana's not here, Rex, it looks like you're the sole safety committee person here. Do you want to run through that?
Okay, president of that meeting was Mayor Joey Beck, financial officer Beth, and committee members were Alana, I, and Brooke. The committee discussed ordinance through the village, chairperson Lana Thompson, committee member Rex Butler, flag is listed as follows. Addresses of the houses, 704 Beach Street, trash, 113 East Short Street, appliances on the mile in the yard, car, Short Street, Trailer Court, lot 33, blue Jeep, lot 5, junk car, at 504 West Church Street, not licensed, it was a truck, 108 East Short, gray Dodge, Durango, in the back of the residence. 115 Short Street, multiple vehicles in the back. And the committee then discussed Stryker Welding as a licensed scrap business or not. Tompkins asked if any extra water testing had been completed regarding the residents' complaint of mold in the water. Financial officer Regular replied yes. 2 samples were collected and sent to a lab for testing. 1 sample from the school and 1 from the village hydrant in front of the residence. Tompkins asked if there's any way to require a house number so safety personnel can respond more easily. The committee consensus was there was no way to enforce the issue. to discuss a letter that was sent from the EPA to the owner of Door Works regarding cleanup of the property. The meeting was adjourned. Submitted by Lon.
What we did with this is, I just recently gave really recently, like tonight, gave the list to Steve on these. I had it sitting here and I forgot to mention it, so the delay from 10/28 till now was a result of me forgetting to let Steve know about the concerns that they had there. But that falls under the police department's area, as far as with if anything needs to be done there. Is it a concern? Sure, obviously someone has one, but that needs to be addressed in the police department. The other item that came up, and the office did some digging on that, under the ordinance, village ordinance, which is 1311.01 on numbering required. There is a paper up here on some house numbering, and I believe everyone had that. Is that correct, in the packet? Can we have some of this just kind of posted up here, if someone wanted to know, where we can just put a paper? But house numbering would be great, especially for police, fire, EMS. So there was that correction there. The next one was the finance committee, and I'm gonna turn that one, and that was on 10/28/2019 as well, and I'll turn that one over to Lee.
Thank you, sir. Okay, as you said, on 10/28, we had a finance committee meeting, members present from myself, Brooke Overland, and then a conference. Others present was the fiscal officer, Beth Berger, Mayor Joe Beck, Councilman Rex Blevins, and village administrator, Tom Woodsucker. Fiscal officer Beth Berger gave an update of this year's finances. As to date, the expenses are $975,000, and the revenue is $974,000, negative $900. But she believes the village will finish on the positive side, which we're still headed that way, so that looks good. The committee discussed some future grant projects such as Johnson and Curtis Street, water line replacements, the new launch of Rough Landing, and new sewer pumps updating telemetry control panels, which is what makes everything do what it does. Reddicker presented the employee health insurance renewal, which came in at a 9.7% increase, saying that the village administrator, First Insurance Group agent Mike Kerwell, and herself reviewed several plans, but their recommendation is to stay with the current carrier and accept the renewal as is. There will be a monthly increase to the village budget of about $550, and to the employees who are responsible for 10% of their health care premium, $3 to $10 range, bi-weekly from their paycheck. Rediger then presented the 2020 wages, asking for a 2% increase for all employees. After some adjustments, the committee agreed to the wages and salaries as presented and will recommend a new payroll ordinance to council. The committee then reviewed the proposed 2020 budget by line item. They directed fiscal officer Rediger to prepare the budget in an appropriation ordinance for the council to pass. So we will get to that. Village Administrator Brinsecker noted that committee that he had contacted the village solicitor Katie Rakes about vacating some alleyways throughout the village. Berger noted that the Christmas decoration company will be coming soon to put up the Christmas decorations. She asked if the committee would like to add anything more for this year. After discussion, committee consensus is to add something to the green space that is located in the middle of downtown. Lastly, Rediger suggested the village do a rate study on water, sewer, and trash rates, as there has been no increase since 2013, and expenses are going up. And engineering firm had emailed prices for a study that would help. For future grant funding, the committee directed her to obtain rates from other villages and collect stricter village data to see what exactly is needed. With no further business, the committee adjourned, respectfully submitted by me.
Is there any questions on the finance committee meeting that we had. You'll see a couple of the items as a result of that meeting. Obviously, there's a little bit more decoration in the green space, so that will get lit up. And then the other one that you more likely than not read, hopefully, with some of the ordinance and the payroll as well. So, any further questions? That is going to turn us into the old business. I was gonna let Alan handle this one, but since he's not here, best should I'll do the yeast one. He was able to, as far as our village administrator, over the concern of Jack Gensler and the safety of mold in the water, or the concern that there was some there. What Alan was able to do is find a company in Streetsboro, Ohio, that actually tested for mold and a yeast count. That's actually very difficult to find a place that does it, because it's just really not done. It's not a common test. I would like to stress that our water is completely safe. It has been. We meet all the requirements of the EPA, and Alan can tell you, I'm sure, way more regulations on that, but we meet the standards. But we went ahead and set samples out. We did Alan did 400 South Defiance Street, as well as 403 North Defiance. 2 samples. The results came back of there are no yeast or mold detected in either one of the samples. The individual said the person who complained was evidently smelling something else, but not fungus. So that came directly from the company, and I have those reports if you would like to see them. Those will be here for you to view.
Did somebody get a hold of the person that came in to talk to them about those?
Do you know if you
I
wound
think
up
Alan
talking to them?
talked to him.
Okay.
Okay, just wanted to.
I did not get that confirmation, but I know that was planned. So that's good. I mean, it hopefully rests him a little bit more easy on what may be happening there. But we do know that it is not any concern with the water. So it's good to have that verification. Okay, that's going to lead us into the legislation portion of it. We are not, again, because we only have 4 members here, we are not able to do an emergency where we suspend and pass, so we will do a first reading, and then we'll look at doing a special meeting to do the pass, but we'll do the first reading today. We're looking at ordinance number 2019, TAC 07. Is there a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion to accept ordinance 2019-07 on the first reading.
Is there a second?
Second.
And roll call.
Cameron,
Yes.
Armstrong,
Yeah.
Levin.
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Okay. That's going to put us, the next one is ordinance, Village of Stryker ordinance 2019, TAC 08. Looking for a motion to pass for a first reading.
I make a motion to pass first reading of ordinance 219-8.
I know I throw it off when I do the 0 and the TAC.
Yeah.
So, okay,
Some of us have just gotten used.
I know. So Rex did the first.
We're just gonna bypass them along.
And roll call.
Armstrong,
Yeah.
Levens,
Yes.
Benner,
Yes.
Cameron.
Yes.
Takes us to ordinance number 2019-09.
Can I get
Is there a motion to pass, or a motion to accept the first reading?
I'll make a motion to accept the first reading of ordinance number 2019-09.
And a second?
I'll second.
And roll call.
Levens,
Yes.
Benner,
Yes.
Cameron,
Yes.
Armstrong.
Yes.
we'll do the, meeting schedule for, under the other. That takes us to village officials. I will go with, you can go first. Are you acting as yourself or Alan first?
Oh, I can be Alan first, if
Okay.
that's all right. We covered the mold, so, the other thing was he has last day for leaf pickup is December 2nd. The compost dumpster is available for leaves after that until January 1st. So,
Any questions for our stand-in?
okay, for me, I would like to ask for a motion to, spend $40 per employee for holiday gift certificates from local businesses. I know other villages do a meal or do a turkey or do a ham or something, and, I know it's called gratuity, and you can basically do something, and that's kind of what I would like to do. The thought was we could do like a gas card and a subway card for part-timers that aren't always in the village, and for the other employees, we could do the actual businesses, like the eating places, the 2 pizza places and the other places, and the money would get spent here in town. Other villages, they have like chamber box or Bryan Chamber, and I just thought this was a way that we could do something, we get something for the holidays, and yet we give it back to the town. So,
This is, I think, the third year.
yeah, I think last year we did like,
We did
we did
the
gift
hats.
certificates and hats.
So it's just a way to say thank you to them. And it's kind of nice that we're doing it in the town as well to help support that. So does anyone want to make a motion to do a $40 gratuity for the holidays for staff members?
Can we do that with them for?
It's more, they can actually do it on their own, but what it does is it helps to show that whether you're in support of that or not.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, roll call.
Benner,
Yes.
Cameron,
Yes.
Armstrong,
Yeah.
Ben,
Yes.
or Blevins, sorry. Sorry.
Whichever one you are today.
Just who you wanna be tonight, you know?
And then, the other thing I had is I will be out of the office, at the end of December, after December 9th. So I was trying to get as much done as I could ahead of time.
Will we be shutting the village down for that?
No,
It's
Emily,
close.
Emily is, I'm trying to get as much as I can done, and Emily's gonna kind of take the ball and run with it.
All right.
So she will be doing the December meeting.
Long, we need to extend that
Oh, yeah,
one.
it's like 4 hours anyway.
And I guess I have one other thing that I didn't put on the agenda, and I probably should have. We probably should have done a motion to renew the health insurance. I don't think we did that.
We need that on this one, or can we do it in December?
You can do it in December,
Let's do the December.
because it renews in January.
Let's do it with, the other two as
Okay.
well.
Just a thought, that's my mind.
Just make sure, if you would, can you put that on our minutes for the next one,
Yeah,
before you leave for a period?
yeah, yeah.
And the one that we were looking at, with the ordinances that we were looking at doing that modification, was based on her being gone for a short period and wanting to get that cleaned up. It was just trying to make it really clean and easier for Emily as she stepped in for us. We didn't want to overwhelm her. Well, I didn't, maybe you did. Okay, anything else for us, Beth?
Nope, that's it.
Being good.
Chief, you're up, and I'll probably throw a couple curveballs at you that you'll hit out of the park.
Okay. All right, so, we're gonna be participating in Lights for Lives. That's gonna be starting at 6 a.m. on Monday, November 25th until 6 p.m. on Tuesday, November 26th. Just a 36-hour campaign. It's a state of Ohio campaign, so it's not like a national, click it or ticket or drive sober, get pulled over during, Labor Day, Memorial Day, weekends. Yeah, it's just exclusively for Ohio, kind of driven by the State Highway Patrol and their numbers. So you can kind of see there, I mean, you had five people from Northwest Ohio that lost their lives during the holiday travels last year. And so it's just kind of an initiative for, law enforcement, another reason for us to do, get really aggressive on traffic stops and things like that. So we'll definitely, I'd like to see it extended until Wednesday, to be honest. Wednesday with the, it's actually one of the bigger party nights of the year. I think it's starting to overtake like New Year's Eve as the biggest party night of the year. So the Wednesday prior to Thanksgiving. So I'd really like to see this get extended into that time frame. But yeah, we'll be participating in that. Not a whole lot going on. I'll just add the talk with the Marks radio system, multi-agency radio communication system. Probably going to be switching over to that maybe around 2021. Going to be meeting with some folks that deal in Kenwood radios rather than Motorola tomorrow afternoon, and so we're going to definitely try to keep the costs down. I know I gave one quote for like 3 mobile radios and 3 handheld radios was like $16,000 just for 6 radios. And after talking with the mayor, we can get like free handheld radios from the state, but there's still that $10 a month user fee. So if we can get some cheaper radios,
Less expensive.
that's okay, that too. But they're proven. I mean, the Kenwoods have been proven in the field. So, I'll be talking to the dealer tomorrow afternoon and seeing what kind of a price range we're going to get on the radios that we need. So, going into the monthly stats, 64 complaints since our last council meeting. We had 22 traffic warnings and 2 adult arrests.
Any questions for Chief? Okay, you took one of my curveballs.
Okay.
So I'll throw one other one at you, but if you would, I would assume that you have contact with one of our officers that is currently serving overseas.
Yes.
If you would, please extend our thanks, as well as hopefully he's having about as good of a Christmas as you can have. I don't know if you were ever overseas during Christmas, but it kind of sucks.
Several times.
I mean, it does. However, there's lots of things that places like the USO does at that time. So that's kind of neat, but it's always tough to be away from home. So if you could extend our thanks to him.
Hey, I saw a picture of him with a Starbucks coffee in his hand, growing a great big bushy mustache. So Ben's doing just great.
And he's got a cat.
He's got a cat?
He's got a cat.
What he needs to learn is be careful with the pictures.
Right?
But yeah, there's Starbucks and stuff over there. However, it's still tough to be away.
Yeah.
So please extend our appreciation if you would. The other one that I wanted to touch on just slightly is, and I know it was kind of out there a little bit here in this recent time with the elections and stuff, is the K-9 unit. There was concern over the cost and the why. And obviously, there's definitely concern with that from people. I wanted to address that just slightly and let you jump in anytime. The cost, in either one, I already know the answers to this, but I'm gonna throw it out there. The cost of the dog to village was what? What did the dog cost us?
It's free.
It was free, okay? The cost for the car modifications as far as the equipment needed for the vehicle itself, the equipment, how much was that?
Donated.
It was donated. So what about the ability to feed the dog? Where does that come from?
Donated.
Donated. Cost for the village for vet bills?
Donated.
You starting to see a pattern here? So Beth, I'm gonna push this one towards you a little bit. What do we have as far as a yearly budget earmarked for the K-9 unit?
We have nothing, Mr. Mendez gets donations. We did one time when he switched dogs, I believe, budgeted $1,000.
So as of right now, with everything that I've spoken about, the village has contributed $1,000. And do you know roughly how much is in there right now? I think it's like 13.
$13.70,
So he's doing a lot of this.
and that's in the 6 years I've been here.
Then
Sergeant Mendez will often, like, for some of the vet bills aren't necessarily all donated, but he'll take some out of that pot of money, if it's a large vet bill. But honestly, for the most part, he pays for a lot of that himself.
Did you read my notes? Because my next question is, does the officer ever use his own funds?
Yeah, yeah. Yes, he does.
I knew many of these. So
Keep the paper his own training, did he not?
the,
Yeah.
what's that?
Well, he put himself through the K-9 handler school. He paid for that, took vacation,
Which is relatively expensive.
Mhm.
actually did it on weekends that he wasn't working. You do it on, Friday nights, from like 6 to 10 at night, all day, like 12 or 18-hour days on Saturday, some Sunday afternoons. It's probably about a 120-hour school. It's about 120 hours, I think, maybe even longer than that. But yeah, and Steve goes to, he assists all of Williams County, but he also, he's in Fulton County helping with school searches, goes out to Ford County. He's all over the place.
So I guess the point that I really wanted to get out there is the cost of a K-9 unit for us is extremely tiny. But the benefit for us, we'll never know the true benefits of it. He is, like Chief was saying, he's helping other communities as well with the dog. Some of the things that I have heard is, and he's a part-time officer doing all of this for us, the village. His dog ranks right up there with people that do it every single day, 8 hours a day. He's got a great dog. So we're actually fortunate to, number one, have a dog that good, and we're fortunate to have an officer that good as well, that cares about the village. So I knew you'd hit it out of the park, because without even giving you a heads up to that, I wanted to get those answers, because I did not want them scripted. But he is definitely, both the dog and officers, a huge asset to us.
Is there any way that we can, I mean, I know that we're on the internet saying this, but a lot of our community members don't know some of the stuff like this. They know that we have a K-9, and they know that those are expensive, so we must be spending money. We don't ever acknowledge, what he goes through to train and where he's getting the donations, or, what this is. Is there any way that we can put that out for our community to know?
Yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, the majority of our donations come from the Eagles in Bryan, Montpelier, the Moose Lodges, things of that nature. They haven't donated to us for a couple of years. But it's kind of like, it's not really, there's no expense to the dog other than maintenance. So feeding and vet bills. And those, we can guarantee, those are gonna be covered. A third vehicle does not cost us any more in insurance. Obviously we're under a fleet program. We could have, it's gonna cost us the same amount for
5 vehicles as it would for one. You know, the village, look, the liability insurance does not go up because we have a K-9 unit. There's absolutely no cost other than the initial. If we were to go out and just purchase a dog
Ouch.
and send him through the training, it would probably cost the village $35,000 or $40,000. You know, but we're in with the Throwaway Dogs project out of Philadelphia, and you know, it's cost. We'll say it cost he and us money to go to Pittsburgh, meet him halfway, and we picked the dog up there. But you know, other than that, there's absolutely no cost whatsoever to maintain the dog. And Steve works with him almost every night. And that's why he's one of the best dogs in Northwest Ohio.
And if there's any question on what he's capable of doing, Sergeant Mendez said that he would, as long as it's scheduled and he can get the time off of work, he'll come in and do a full demonstration. He'll talk about the dog, he'll tell you where he got his donations from and show you what the dog's capable of doing.
So it's like an unshown treasure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay. I appreciate that, Chief.
Mhm.
Nothing else there. That leads us into the other, which is to discuss the filling of the vacant council seat term beginning 1/1/20. There has, I think I've been around for about 5 seats, it seems like, that we've had to fill in different capacities. In this case, Brooke, he did not rerun, Lana did, and that leaves 1 vacancy starting on January 1. So the question to you all, get my southern drawl out there, even though I'm from Northwest Ohio, how you want to proceed with filling that position. Once that position is open on January 1st, you have 30 days to make a decision on filling that role. Once those 30 days expires, then you basically push that to this chair to make a decision on who to bring in. However, I do like the idea of the council making that decision. It would be nice to see that there. It has always been at that position, but there is a contingency if you could not come to an agreement. What we have done in the past, and it doesn't mean that you necessarily have to do it this way, but we have taken letters of interest. And then there's been times where we've sat down with individuals and chatted with them to let you guys see. I think when you came on, I don't know that I was in listening to it more than just a couple minutes. I was in and out, not that I didn't care, but it was truly their decision to make, and I wanted it to be that way. So, floor's kind of open on how you want to look at filling the open spot.
I think it's, to me, a fair way, just to do a letter thing.
A letter of interest, okay?
The process worked for me,
Okay.
and I think it's, careful, Mr. Armstrong. And I think it's a fair and honest way to do it.
Okay.
I wrote a letter.
You wrote a letter?
I wrote a
I think she did as well.
Well, there you go.
So is that the avenue we want to take?
Yes, I do.
Okay. There is nothing to my knowledge out there that says that we can't start publicizing that. Do you know of any, Beth? However, the position does not get filled until January 1, and I believe that is the day the 30-day count starts. I don't think it's before that. So with today being November 18th, when would you like to have the letters of interest in by? And then what we can do is pass them out to all members as well, once we have a deadline. Remember, we have Thanksgiving in there as well as Christmas.
Before our January meeting?
My opinion is yes, because I think it would be,
We need to vote on somebody.
I think it would be great to have them ready, either that night or possibly January 1st. Can we do January 1? That one, we'll look. I don't know if we can do it on our first meeting. We would be at 5, which we can still suspend and pass things if we need to. We could do it that night.
In January, we're still being our third Monday.
Are you looking at January?
So if we have the letters by January 1st, then we can decide at our meeting?
Well, I think you're going to want to spend time, we're gonna have a
You're gonna have
Us-
to do it together.
get together to chat with this person. So whatever you guys think.
So the regular meeting will be the 21st,
20th of January.
or, excuse me.
Dr. Martin Luther King's Day, we're not closed down, are we, for that? Okay. What do you wanna shoot for? By the end of December, or by the end of December? So everything has to be postmarked prior to January 1? What do you think?
I think you got to accept letters all the way up to January 1st. I think you should,
All the way, well, that would be,
yeah.
so through, yeah,
First will be the deadline, right?
postmarked prior to January 1st, or midnight of,
Just do the following Monday, the 6th.
how does the 6th look for everyone? You want to meet in for 6 o'clock? 6:30? Well, Brooke won't be involved, because his term will end.
Make it 6.
6 PM work for everyone to review?
January 6th. At 6 o'clock p.m.
That's to review the letters. And letters postmarked by January 1 or 2019. Okay. And then she'll have those letters here, and then once we get everyone, she can ship them out to us at the new year.
I'll probably just post it throughout town, if you're gonna put it in the paper. And then I'll probably put it on what's happening in Stryker, that you're accepting letters of interest
For one council seat.
for one vacant council seat.
Yes.
Must be mailed to the village hall by,
Postmarked 2019.
Can they drop them off, or do they have to mail them?
Oh, they could.
well, they
drop them.
can drop them off or mail.
Okay, there's that meeting. The next one was, calendar's having some issues. Need to set up a meeting to do the ordinance, since we did not have 5. When are we available for that?
I did email Brooke and he's available next Monday and Lana's available. Well, she
Monday.
thinks, as long as she feels better.
And that one would be fairly short as far as in time. Quantity and quality is there, but it could be a quick. Be those 3 looking at doing the suspend and pass. Does the 25th of November work for everyone at 6? And I'm assuming we'd probably be out about 6:15 or 6:20. Okay.
11:25 at 6 p.m.
6 PM.
Got it.
Who's it? Okay, we did get a thank you, actually, I'm gonna go to you guys first, and then I have a couple odds and end things here. I'll start here on the right-hand side, the council president,
I have nothing.
okay,
I'm good.
you good?
I have nothing.
Good, sir.
Holy cow, I should have spread the wealth here. We did get a thank you, from Teresa Kretz on the stepping stone, which I wanna talk to both of you after something about this. So that was well-respected man, and a longtime resident and servant here. The other item, we have the Ohio Municipal League, talking about, it's just a letter if you guys want to read it. This one here, Stryker Heritage Council, if you are interested in joining the council, I went to the annual meeting that they have. They had Souder come in, Souder Woodworking, or not Souder Woodworking, the Souder Village come in, talking about the 1920s Main Street community that's being developed. They have Stryker items that are going to be in the buildings, which is kind of neat. I believe they have some of the Whitaker items, so in one of their stores, it sounds really interesting. But the Stryker Heritage Council, if you want to be a member of that, they're always looking for members, as well as some of the donations for that as well. So it's kind of a neat organization if you have not been involved in that or seen some of the things that they have. Two other items, actually I'm just going to go with one of them. If you have not seen and or heard, there is a public hearing coming up. This is for a hog farm that is looking to be on County Road 22 at 05136. I'm not putting anything out there except it was already in the paper. It is 4,800 head of hog, which is just outside of the village limit to our southeast there. So definitely I have some personal thoughts on that and concerns, but I can tell you that there is a, what's the word I want with this, Beth? A public notice hereby given that the Ohio Department of Agriculture is accepting comments on a draft permit to install this. So if you're interested in seeing that, if you have some concerns, it is here. The other item is, this is a public records request that we did, and this is the submission that they did for their draft permit to operate. So here's this. If you would like to read that in detail, okay. But I think you can get the gist of that by going to the meeting as well. It's 1.3 miles from town by road. By air, it's a little bit shorter, obviously. So
What's
there's
the address of it?
05136 County Road 22. The name of the LLC is on here, that you are more than welcome to look at. But this is going to be on December 11th, 2019 at 6:30 p.m. It'll begin at, the doors will open at 6:30, the public meeting will begin at 7, if you're interested in it. So, the information is on here. It was already put in the paper, so I am not giving you any earth-shattering news, but it is definitely here for you to look at. Any questions on that? I gave you all the answers I have, or all the information I have on that. Okay.
At least it's not at the golf course.
That's right. That would be tragic.
I don't golf. Sorry. Yeah. So I'll go one more round. The person stepping in for Alan?
Alan says nothing.
Alan says nothing. Beth, you have anything for council? Chief?
Good to go.
Nothing? And one more time around. Rex?
Nothing, sir.
Nothing.
Nothing from you two? All right, we'll take a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
For a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. Thank you.
Okay. I have a bunch of questions.